We talked about crime. Now let's talk about three more things I see coming. They all follow the same logic, the same, math. It's the same dominoes that are all falling over. I'm not claiming to have a crystal ball. I'm just telling you what's pretty obvious over the next 10 to 20 years. For decades, higher education was built on growth. More students every year, more everything. Entire towns were organized around young people in their early 20s, late teens, flocking to them, including my hometown here in Rochester. We are surrounded with colleges. The University of Rochester is literally our biggest employer. And I want you to think about what a college means to a place like Rochester. It's not just about education, it's the professors who buy houses, it's the people who send their kids to local schools. It's the students that fill out, you know, apartments and houses. It's restaurants that survive on those kids. Bookstores, coffee shops, bars. It's the local economy that depends on thousands of 18-year-olds showing up every September with their parents' credit cards and with a boatload of debt. It was all built on the assumption that September brings a boatload of new faces and that this was going to continue. But I argue that it's not. And we know it's not. According to an economic analysis from a firm named Implan, each college closure eliminates an average of 265 jobs and $67 million a year in economic impact. Now, think about that in a place like Rochester, where I'm from. It's not just, losing higher education, that's an economic amputation. That's a tax base evaporating. In a place like Rochester, our biggest employer is our college, the University of Rochester. Our biggest hospital is the University of Rochester. And it's all hinges on this cohort of young people coming and spending an exorbitant amount of money on going to this place. We've built this entire era of economic development around our gigantic college and all that is swallowed around it. Now, the Western Interstate Commission for Higher Education warned about this nearly 15 years ago. The data was clear then. Birth rates dropped during the Great Recessions, back when I was just out of college. And my cohort, we didn't have as many kids. There was no baby bounce that followed when the economy recovered. Yet these institutions, colleges, universities kept building, kept borrowing. They kept assuming that next year will be different because that's what people do. They plan for what they know, not the world that's coming. And the regional breakdown it's rough. In the Northeast, where I live, 17% of high school graduates will be gone in the next 15 years. In the Midwest, it's 16%. In the West, they're expecting 17% declines. In the South, we'll see a bit of a bounce. As we reshuffle ourselves, they'll be up about 3%. 5 states will account for 75% of the entire national decline of 18-year-olds. California, Illinois, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and my home state, where I sit right now, New York. These are our economic engines, full of flagship universities in major industries that depend on them, in cities that depend on them. And they're about to have a lot fewer people to fuel it. Now, a study of the socioeconomic makeup of highly selective colleges over the last, well, not the last, it's roughly between 1923 and in 2013, says that the proportion of low and middle income students was the same at the beginning and the end, despite the GI Bill, despite standardized testing, despite financial aid, despite Pell Grants. The way these schools, the makeup of these schools are the same. The bottom 20% of income owners consistently make up about 5% of elite institutions for, you know, the last 100 years. And I think that's going to get even lower. I believe that unless you're wealthy in the years and to come, your kids are not going to go to college. There will be an education system for them to go into. I think there'll be training. I think there'll be apprenticeships. But I don't think we're going to end up with the classic college system. We're going to have to remake it. We're going to have to rethink it. Now, let's apply the same logic to government. I'm 41, and I shudder to think about concepts like Social Security. In 1950, 16 and a half workers supported every person on Social Security. There were 16 workers paying in for every one person taking out. The whole design certainly looks like a pyramid scheme to me. What about you? A lot of young people at the bottom and fewer people on the top. Today, as you might have guessed, that pyramid is collapsing. That ratio, 16 to 1, will soon be less than 3 to 1. And by 2040, we're talking 14 years from now, as strange as it is to say, it'll just be 2 to 1. You can't tax two people enough to support one person's retirement and healthcare without breaking something. I'll say that one more time. You can't tax two people enough to support one person's retirement and healthcare without breaking something. Social Security and Medicare together account for about half of what the federal government spends. Half. It's that line from that Eddie Murphy said back in the day. If you had a dollar and somebody took 50 cents, you'd be upset. Both these programs are expected to grow dramatically as our population shifts, as older people live longer. And we're expecting it just within the next 5 to 10 years to exceed GDP, gross domestic product. We're going to spend more on Social Security and Medicare than the entire gross domestic product. That's why I talk about population so much because of things like this. Because I believe that our entire world is going to be shaped by this massive change we're undergoing right now. And I don't understand how we can go through our culture, go through our day to day, and not even consider this, not have real discussions about how the hell are we going to take care of all of these older folks and what's the effect on the rest of us culturally? What's the effect on our pocketbooks? What's the effect on the working age population? As I said, I'm in my early 40s. The idea of retirement in this circumstance, it's shocking. It's not going to happen. At least not in the way that we see it now. So, why do I talk about this impending doom? Well, because it's hard to ignore, at least for me. I wonder why everybody else is ignoring this. It's like it's this doom that we're that we can all see over the horizon, but nobody wants to look over there.